Can you see me? Hello? What is this? Hello? Hey. Hey, sorry. I have to stay really quiet. I'm hiding from somebody. I'm really sorry. This isn't the best time. Shoot. Hello, welcome to this week's episode of FutureProbe. This is not good. This week we're talking about fear, and the things that we fear. Oh God. Sorry, I can't stay too long. I was in my living room. I was getting ready for a Halloween party I was going to, and I went into my living room, and there was a box sitting there. There was a box by the fireplace. And I opened it, and there was a hand. There was a hand. It was my own hand. I was using it to open the box. So there was nothing wrong with that. But when I opened the box, there was a rock. And the rock, when I picked it up, under the rock, there was a note. And the note said, "You're dead." And I said, who could have written that? I'm not dead. Who could have written that note? And then I looked, and my grandma was sitting there in my living room, and she said, "I wrote it. I wrote it. I wrote it. I wrote that note." And I said, "Why?" And she just answered me in a whisper. "I'm just fucking around." And I said, my grandma does never curse. She's never cursed to me ever. Thank you for that ghost story. That was my Halloween ghost story. Today we're going to take calls, and I want everyone to call in and tell me something that you fear, something that scares you, and tell me something that you fear. We can get as superficial as we want. We can talk about things like spiders and snakes and bears, horses. But we can also get as deep as we need to in confronting our fear. We could talk about things that we think about that give us fear in our own lives and in our deepest sorrows. Or we can just say, like, ghosts and stuff. But either way, call in. Whoops. Call into our Discord and we can talk and discuss these things that scare us, that frighten us. What? What? Oh no. Oh no. I'm afraid I'm phasing in and out of the material world. These calls I take tonight may be the final calls of this and every lifetime. Am I still here? Am I still here with you? Please call our Discord channel and tell me what scares you and what you fear. Hello? Hello? Spooky Emperor? Spooky Emperor, hello? Hello, are you there? Oh no, is this not working? Oh no. Oh no. Bandetto? Why can't I can't hear them? Hello? Oh no. Bandetto, are you there? Wait. Hello, Bandetto? Bandetto. Wait, is it working?
Am I making a connection? Am I making a connection?
I think I can hear you. I think I can hear you. Hello?
I'm making the spiritual connection right now.
Yeah?
I'm freaking out. This is crazy.
Oh
Hello?
my gosh, can you hear me? Can everyone at home hear it?
What am I phasing into right now?
I don't know. I'm not liking what I'm hearing. Everyone can hear that?
And
It's okay.
I'm freaking out. What should I do?
Are you
Should I eat or should I drink?
Are you safe?
Well, I'm on a couch. Should I put a blanket on me? I don't know how this works.
Is the audio okay for everyone at home?
I sure hope so. Hey,
Bandetto, what is something that scares you?
You know what? I gotta take a second. Are you all right with your Mima? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but
When she said I'm just fucking around.
oh my God.
Whose grandma says that?
and she just looks
And she
normal,
had
but
this
she
look
said
on her
something
face,
so
and
wild.
this is what it looked like.
No.
Yeah. What's
Oh
something that
my.
scares you enough about my bullshit? What is something
Okay.
that scares you in your life?
All right, I've got my composure back a little bit here. Something that
Yeah.
scares me ever since I was little is the sound of mosquitoes. You know, it's not the mosquitoes anymore. When I was younger, that I was afraid of them, but
The
now just the
sound?
sound.
Just the sound effect?
Yeah, the sound of a mosquito kind of fading in, getting close and fading out gives me just the hair on my back stand up.
The buzz? It's the buzzing?
Yeah, when I was younger, they used to really get at me because I used to live out in the rural area, and me and my brother would just kill them all night because they would really mess with us. But
Oh my
over
gosh.
time, it just got to me, man.
Um, sometimes when I am, sometimes when I'm in a room, sometimes I can hear I swear, my ear is tuned to like, I can hear like a fly dying somewhere. Sometimes I'll go in and I can hear like somewhere on a windowsill. There's, you can hear that like a fly is dying, you know?
I know exactly
And
what
that
you mean,
scares me
especially my
because
windows
part of
are
me wishes I could help, and then the other part of me says, die already.
hot. Oh my lord.
It's the duality of man in one sensation.
You know, I gotta say, I completely understand what you're saying.
Thank you for your call, Bandetto.
I wish you luck in your future endeavors.
Thank you, Bandetto. This is, we're talking about what scares us. And again, um, it can be something that scares you on a purely surface level, or it can be something about your life that's scared, like you're scared of something that you are, you know, like you don't want to die alone, or you don't want to, you know, fail in school. Let's talk to somebody else. Fluence.
Hey, what's up, Rocco? How are you too?
Hello, Fluence.
Hey, man, I got a good topic. So, hey, you're a big fan of Stanley Kubrick, right? It's
Yeah,
about fear. So,
yeah.
his stuff dealt with non-supernatural, but like scary. At least The Shining was. And I thought, maybe you could talk about that, whether you agree
The
that Stanley
Shining
Kubrick. Yeah,
was a scary movie.
yeah. But movies are scary sometimes, man.
What it? What I'm? Yeah, that is that what scares you?
Yes, Stanley Kubrick scares me.
Why does he scare the person?
Yes, Stanley Kubrick the person.
Why does he scare you?
Just he's just brilliant, superhuman, more than more, he's bigger than life.
Kevin Fries. No, no. Fake junk.
Hello.
Hello, fake junk.
How's it going?
Fake junk. What's something that scares you? Is there something you
Um,
think about that it makes you afraid?
yeah, not meeting my own expectations of myself, for sure.
What kind of expectations? Do you mean in your career?
Yeah, I would say anything that I'm just setting out to achieve either career-wise or just even socially. Sometimes I'll have these social standards that I put up for myself that I need to do certain things even though I don't. And that fear kind of hits me. A lot of anxiety about that, but
Yeah.
just got to get through every day.
Yeah. That's something that I have a lot too. Um, there's a double-edged sword to having an audience, um, and a loyal audience is a great thing, but sometimes it can be scary when you feel like you are letting them down, or you feel like you could go further. You think about all the people that look to you for something that they like or enjoy, or something that is a big part of their life, and you wonder if you are meeting those, what they want. If you're you wonder if you're meeting, what they expect of you, and that can sometimes be very scary. And I'm just speaking on my behalf. I can only imagine, what other people go through with that. And but it's a very scary thought sometimes, is you want to do your best, and maybe sometimes you feel like you haven't lived up to that. But I think that's a natural fear. Hello?
Yeah, well, I think I mean, I don't know how you guys deal with this, but I mean, I feel like, especially if you have an audience, you're having to decide between your own creative kind of passion and what you think the audience might want. So I don't know if I'm getting that right, but
Well, even an audience can add to the pressure, sure, but I really was just using that as a personal example. I think anybody anywhere could have that fear that they're not living up to their own potential, but I think it's better to have that fear than be someone who thinks I'm nailing everything, I rule, because I think that person sucks worse, and that's scary.
yeah, well, I think the fear of failure almost drives you, you know.
Yeah. I think you should always have a little of that fear, but not have that fear consume you.
Yeah, never let it obscure what you're trying to do, you know.
I remember talking to Cliff Blazinski once at an E3 party a long time ago. And he said, do something every day that scares you. And I remembered that. And he said that to me because that day he just invested, I think, in like Oculus or something. And he was nervous about it, but he said, do something every day that scares you. So I did the same thing. I invested $10 million in Oculus. That's not true. But I did remember that advice, and I keep it with me. It's okay to be scared once a day. If you're scared a bunch of times a day, maybe that's okay, but maybe you should look into it. But you're entitled to a scare.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway. Thank you
Well,
for your call.
that's all I had to say. Thanks for taking my call, Rocco.
Thank you, fake junk.
All right.
Please call our Skype and tell us what you fear, and maybe it's a fear you've overcome. Maybe it's a challenge you've faced.
Hello.
Hello? Spooky Emperor, hello.
Can you hear me this time?
Yes, I can hear you. Did we try to call you before?
Yeah, and
I'm
it didn't
sorry.
work. And that really scared me.
I understand. What do you fear? Tell me what you fear.
Out of everything in the world,
What is your biggest fear? A fear that lurks within you.
the biggest fear that I have that I can think of right now is, honestly, I mean, and I know this might be a little too personal, a little too dark, if you will, but my biggest fear is seeing the Munich Man uncensored.
Hello, Draunt.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Draunt.
It's drunk. Draunt. It doesn't matter, Rocco. I'm here to talk to you. I got something to say.
Wait, hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh,
Rocco?
now I can hear you. Yes, now I can hear you.
Rocco.
Yeah.
You wanna know what I'm scared of?
What?
Real talk.
Uh-huh.
I'm just scared of dying, man. I think that's a perfectly natural fear, but I really, even though life can be hard sometimes, I really do like being alive. And anytime I get real sick, or I dodge a bullet, or have any sort of situation like that, it just scares the hell out of me. Uh, I I just like being alive, man.
You are afraid of dying?
Yeah, like incredibly afraid. It keeps me up at night sometimes. I just don't want to think that all of this could just end.
I think about that sometimes. I go back and forth on that. On whether or not I'm afraid to die, you know? I think that, I think for me, it's like, on one hand, I'll have moments where I think, this happens to everybody. Literally every being goes through this, and it's part of life itself, so there's no reason to be afraid. And then another part of me goes, how can I not exist? My brain can't handle not existing. And I wonder if that's my ego just hanging on and not understanding, not being there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
if it's just such a heavy thought, I just collapse under the weight of it. How would I not be around? It's like I can't let go of that. But then I bounce back to how hard can it be to let go if you have no choice? I don't know. That's a
I guess
really
it's
difficult
losing
thought.
that control.
What?
I think that's the scariest part to me, I guess, is losing that control. It feels like, having a body, being in a physical thing, makes you so vulnerable
Mhm.
you never know what's gonna happen, and
Mhm.
one day you could wake up, my grandparents are really old, and
Mhm.
one day my grandparent woke up having a stroke,
Mhm.
and that really that scares the shit out of me, because you can
Yeah.
be just going through your normal life, and then just out of nowhere it's all gone, you know?
Mhm. Is it the aspect of not existing that is the scariest thing to you, or is it the actual feeling of dying, like the pain of dying, like as a
Uh,
physical thing? Do you know?
I think it's probably the non-existing that bugs the hell out of me the most.
Mm-hmm.
Or and just that it's the ultimate form of change, I guess. You go from on to off.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that, I guess, there are going to be some things that I'm going to miss out on kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And all having to, if I do get the fortunate chance of being able to at least see it coming and be able to say goodbye to everybody, knowing that they're uh, just that I am going to fade away. Not necessarily that I'm not leaving a mark, but knowing that everything just goes black, I guess, is really what freaks me out the most. Because
So it.
I know that I'm not going to be remembered in 20, 40, 2,000 years. That doesn't bother me,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm. Um, but the fact that it's all just pulled away from you in an
Yeah.
instant. But
kind
you
of like
know,
how you're fading away right now, you know?
but you know something that I think about that put things in perspective to me. This is gonna sound. This is gonna sound weird. This is gonna sound really weird. I remember one time when I watch videos on YouTube, I get like the worst related videos ever.
Yeah.
It's almost always like the Last Jedi cinematic travesty, and it's got like Laura Dern's messed up face, like they've messed it up in Photoshop, like
Yeah.
and I hate that, and I get things that don't pertain to me at all. And I remember one of the recommended videos once was a vlog by the Shaytards. Why would they link me to that? Why would that appeal to me in any way? This dude and his family. And it must have worked because I did click it. So I guess they know me better than I know myself.
Yeah.
I think I was just more curious than anything, so I clicked it. And sure enough, it wasn't really of value to me. But I guess in this video, this dude was waiting for his son to be born. Like he was going to have a son. And they were at the hospital waiting for it to happen. And he said, any minute now, I'm going to have to drop the camera. And, my wife's going into labor. And we're going to have a kid,
Mm-hmm.
And he said, and he was in the room where they were going to be. And there's a table or whatever, a pregnant woman, they put her on the table and she has a kid. What do you call that? I don't know what the medical term is for table. But there was the table, and he said, yep, right here, I'm going to have a kid. And then there was this moment like, oh, wait, be right back. And then the video cut, and like a minute later, the they turned the camera back on, and it was like, oh, hey, we just had the kid. Sorry, we had to go. We just had the kid. And they're on that table holding the kid. And I thought, on a minute ago, that was just the table. And then a second later was the beginning of everything. Like,
Oh my goodness.
a minute ago, that table, you could have just sat there and, I mean, there wasn't anything happening. And then someone's life began there. It was already happening. It was going. When a minute ago that table was boring. Like there was just a shitty table. And ever since that, it's a weird little thing, but I just feel like that's all it is just momentary transitions. One moment a room is just a room, the next moment you could meet someone and kiss someone in there, and then you have a memory in that room forever. That's just what everything is, are these little moment-to-moment things, and you embrace the ones that you find and you have, and you hold them because that's all you can do. And you can weave a bigger thing out of all of them if you want, but those don't always tie together neatly. They don't always fit together like puzzle pieces. You find odd ends and things that don't match, but the most you can hope for is holding as many of those little moments as you can. That's the most you can do, is hold them.
Yeah. Well,
These are the thoughts I have in my final moments as I phase into the next plane.
Well, Rocco, hopefully life is like Cloud Atlas, except a little bit better, and we can meet up in the next life. Enjoy.
Did you like Cloud Atlas?
Honestly, I never saw it. I just heard.
I wanted to talk about Cloud Atlas. I'm going to phase away without ever talking to somebody about Cloud Atlas because I can't get anyone to watch it. Will Smith 666. Hello. Hello, Will Smith. Where's Will Smith? That's okay. I didn't need him. I didn't need his call because there's nothing he can teach me about taking calls on my show. How come this caller don't want me, man? The Galactic Conglomerate.
Yes, is this the Cloud Atlas podcast?
Yes. No.
Yeah. Just...
No. No. This is where we discuss our fears and what fears we face in our lives.
Well, I just wanted to talk about that one scene in Cloud Atlas when.
Yeah. Which one?
Yeah, when they're on like the bikes. Were they on like bikes in the city?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, I wanted to talk about when I'm scared. Let's.
Okay.
Cut out. Can you cut that out?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to talk about my greatest fear is not finishing Naruto Shippuden ever, because it's
too many tricks. Too many tricks. Too many stunts. I don't have time for many stunts left in this plane of existence. Goron. 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 Goron.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
I'm trying. I don't hear you at all, man.
Goron. You suck. Goron, can you hear me? You suck. You suck.
I can talk to you. I can just like talk to you one way. This can just be like a radio communication.
You suck.
I can't.
You can't hear me say you suck. I like corn. Goron, I like
Look,
corn.
okay, I'm just gonna talk, and you can just hang up.
If you
on
say
me if you
something
want, man.
about
But I wanna
green
talk about a fear
corn,
that I
I'll give you
conquered.
$1,000 through PayPal.
This is actually a real fear.
If you say something about corn on the cob, I'll give you $1,000 via PayPal.
Okay, corn is a.
Oh no! I thought he couldn't hear me. What did I do? 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 Hello? 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 The mad head. The mad head.
Hello?
Hello, the mad head?
Hello? Yes. That is me.
Is there something that you are afraid of, that you fear?
There is. Yes. Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
What are you afraid of?
Things. You can hear me, yes?
Hello? Yes.
You can hear me, yes?
Yes.
I'm afraid of what I believe in not being true.
What do you believe in that might not be true?
Now, this can apply to really anything. Your mother may love you, so you may believe, but that may not be true. That could be a ruse. The government may say everything is fine, but we may believe it, but that may not be true. Do you understand?
Yeah. What about
Yeah.
what your parents tell you? What about that makes you unsure? Is there something that makes you think that you may have reason to doubt it?
You may think everything is fine, but then you may have reason to think that, wow, that I cost a lot of money. I cost a lot of money.
And you think that maybe your parents resent you because of that?
No, but they could be thinking, damn, I could not be spending money on college. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like $50,000. That's like buy a car, I think. You know.
And so you think they might hate that?
Uh. um.
There's something strange about this call. There was a weird tone. There was a very strange tone to that call, so I ended it. Andy. What was that? Andy, did you just belch?
I don't think so.
Andy, what's something that you fear?
Fear itself, no. Being left behind.
Being left behind in what sense?
It's sort of like I guess people would go immediately to like the rapture. Back to what the guy before said, like believing that you were a good person
Yeah.
and finding out you're not.
Yeah.
But I think maybe in like a more microcosmic level, I think this one memory always affected me, and simple, but it's when you, I don't know, I'm a pretty forgetful person, but when I would go to school as a kid, I would only like not do my homework, but I would forget that I even had homework.
Yeah.
So there'd be a lot of instances where class, I get into a class, this is like 5th grade, everyone pulls out their homework.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, there was homework? And everyone's like, yeah, what are you thinking about?
You fear that you missed out on something?
You're an idiot. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's a fear of missing out, and it's a fear of, it's not that example is not so much left behind, but
it's a fear that you are not living up to the rest of the world.
not joining the world, I guess.
Not how do you say? It's like you feel like you feel like the world left you behind, kind of. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, no, yeah, I think so. It left me behind, and
is the fear coming from the fact that maybe you don't know that? Like maybe it's something that's happening that you don't realize it while it's happening to you?
Exactly, and it feels out of my control.
Yeah.
And it feels like, in a way, do anything to earn that. Yeah. I mean, it's just what it feels like to be a minority, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I think that I would say maybe one of my biggest fears is having those kinds of things going on that you don't know about. You know, I can definitely identify with that. You know, I think a lot of my 20s, like when I was in my 20s, I was really aloof to stuff. Like I was really tunnel vision, you know, on my things that I was focused on, but I think that I was an asshole without really kind of knowing it to a lot of people that I care about. You know what I mean? And then one day when I realized that I got older and I realized that it was this crushing weight of like, is that my legacy? Like, is that what I've left behind for so many years? Like how widespread is this feeling like that I've left people? Like, have I let them down? Have I, you know, it was like the world was on this one path and I was on another and I didn't necessarily like it. And it was really hard to confront that. And it was really scary. Just the idea of, I think I'm one way, but I'm actually another. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
And that's why I bring that up, is it might not be the same example that you've mentioned, but that is still the most crippling thing, I think, in my experience that I've ever encountered. And I identify with you on that. The idea that you know yourself as one thing, but you're actually another, is so crushing, terrifying.
It is really, yeah, it's very unsettling. Kicked people off your train and then you realize there was no one else on the train at a certain point?
Well, that's a separate thing, and definitely another thing that you obviously don't want. It is obviously scary, but I think where we're meeting on the same page is this idea that we don't perceive ourselves the same way as maybe we actually are. Mm-hmm. And that's scary. It's like not seeing the right person in the mirror, you know?
Were you forced to come to terms with that through like a single experience, or just was it over time?
It was confronting it through, it was the people who really care about me telling me that, you know, and being honest with me. And honesty was the best policy. That's dumb. Honesty was something that, you know, went a long way for me. Because when it comes from someone you care about, you listen. And when that happened, I realized I was around a lot of people who thought it was easier to just tell me what I wanted. Or tell me, or just pat me on the back and move along, you know? But a little honesty from the right people goes a long way, and that helped me a lot. Sometimes you have to find that person that's willing to be that role in your life, you know? And it's scary once you know what you have to do and once you confront what you could have done better, but you'll never feel better as when you conquer that, when you make your way through that and make progress. Does that make sense? I'm phasing out of existence, and I'm not sure if I'm coming in
clear.
You're phasing out of existence?
Yes.
Or you mean like I'm not getting your point?
No, I'm actually phasing out of this dimension because of a rip in time and space and ghosts.
Oh my god. I mean, I think it's good that you think like you realize like fuck, like I'm a bad person. After a while, you're like, I've been a bad person.
But I think this. Well, let me just interject and say I don't think this is necessarily a fear that you can have of whether it doesn't solely depend on if you're a bad person or not. Maybe you're not as smart as you thought you were. Maybe you're
Right.
not as skilled as you thought you were.
Yeah, yeah.
And yes, maybe you're not as nice as you thought you were. Any of those things and more can apply. Anything can happen where you realize you weren't who you thought you were in any certain situation, but you can be aware of it and change or embrace it. Either way, you can do it, and there's no reason to say you can't. You are capable of doing that, but you should talk to somebody who has experience, whether it's someone you know and love or someone who is a professional. But either way, it's always good to talk and not internalize. Am I making sense?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think like awareness is the first step of like a positive change.
Yes.
And
Always.
fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say.
I'm beginning
Awareness is
to
the first
notice
step.
and realize a lot of things about life as I phase into the next stage of existence.
You're outside of death right now?
Life, death, rebirth. I see it all.
Albatross.
Thank you for your call, Andy.
Thank you, Rocco. Thanks for everything. This is a great.
I fear I don't have long. I fear I may not live to tell the tale. Oh. Oh. Riley.
Hello.
Riley Brooks.
Hey, Rocco.
Hello.
It's really good to talk to you.
What is something that you fear?
What scares me the most, what fills me with the most dread is calamity level stuff, like a meteor hitting the Earth, irreversible climate change, and the
Yes.
idea that
Yes.
just on a cosmic scale, it could wipe us out just like that, and
Yes.
we may as well never have existed,
That something would just wipe it all away?
Yeah, all of us. And then on an individual level, that makes me think, someday I'm going to die, and I'm going to be so thoroughly forgotten, I may as well never have lived at all, Like, a feeling of being forgotten.
There's an episode of The Sopranos where Carmela goes to Paris with Jackie April's widow. What's her name? Rosalie April?
I'm not familiar.
I'm not sure. But they go to Paris, and there's a point where Carmela looks at the ruins from 1,000 years ago, or whatever, the catacombs, and she looks at them, and she just has this moment where emotion just overtakes her. And she says, she just starts sobbing. She says, we spend so much time worrying, and all of it gets washed away. And if there's anything to take from life, it's, as I said earlier, I think it's collecting as many of those little moments. Collecting those little moments whenever you can. And we pass down stories to people, whether it's family or it's friends, but we pass those stories along. The best thing we can do is share those stories. The best thing we can do is keep sharing those stories and moments with other people, and they pass them to other people. And maybe over generations, maybe they are lost. But I bet you that somewhere in the chain, one of your stories will affect somebody. And set foot on a different path than they would have. And then that starts a whole new ripple in life that wouldn't have happened had you not shared that story. So I think that your impact on the world is inevitable, whether you build a statue or just tell a story.
You know,
But
that is it all comes back to that. How do you behave in a world where, you know, what you do might not matter, but you're saying the people you know are the most important?
that's the most you can hope for. And we have so much, and this is a scary thing in and of itself. We have so much stuff around us every day telling us that it only matters if you're a movie star or you're on camera or something. But nothing, you could hope for nothing more than just affecting the people you care about. That is all that matters at the end. And what you need to do is find someone that you can share your story with. Doesn't even mean you have to get married or have kids, but just don't keep it to yourself. I bet you if you tell your story to somebody, it will have an effect on someone. And whether a meteor knocks all that away or not, that doesn't affect that you already did it. And plus, if a meteor wipes the planet off into dust and out of existence anyway, we're all in the same boat and we're all going to be at the same party in hell. You know?
Yeah. You know, somebody said something a while ago that stuck with me, that you didn't exist for an infinite amount of time before you were born.
Yeah.
So it's not that scary not existing after you die.
Yeah. Someone, a wise man once said, "How much do you fear the year 1792?" And I was like, I don't care about 1792. What happened that year? And they were like, exactly. You weren't fucking there.
Yeah.
And you won't be there for 2192. Well, I will. I definitely will.
Oh, well.
I'm healthy as shit. Except I'm fading. You know,
Into the void, I can see.
I don't know how much time I have left.
You should take some other calls. Get to talk to some other people.
Thank you, Riley. Peace be with you.
Same to you. Good night.
I fear that I only have a few moments left. It's not looking good. This is terrifying. Terrifying plane. Help me. Help me. Donut Rose. Donut Rose.
Hi.
Donut Rose.
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Donut Rose.
Okay, very good. Are you okay?
I feel like I've seen the rim of the earth melt away.
It's fucking deep, man.
And as it melted, I saw myself as a little boy. I watched my whole life come and go. And I realized that everything I ever worried about, everything I ever held, was one-to-one with dust.
Well, that may be so, but still have to keep on living.
Well, yeah, there's 3 more minutes at least of this stream, so I do, at least for right now.
Well, that's good. Should we shut off with a bang?
Donut Rose, what is something that you fear?
I fear disappointing my father, who has given me expectations that I wish to live up to. Just terrified of disappointing anyone in my life that looks up to me, to be honest.
What kind of expectations do they have of you?
Just keeping good grades in school and trying to do my best in everything that I possibly can, but it gets tiring sometimes. And just haven't been doing too well and feel kind of crappy about it. I'm just afraid of being judged, I guess.
Do they put a lot of expectation on you?
Yeah, currently.
Or is it coming from yourself that that expectation exists?
Yeah, I guess it's also fear of my own expectations, because I strive to live up to other people's expectations and get angry at myself for not doing so.
Is it something you give into, or have you confronted it and made progress?
I've confronted it to give myself some slack, but anytime I have a sort of failure, I always kind of throw it out of proportion, just because I feel like if if I was trying my best, it wouldn't have happened and I would have done better. So I guess I don't know my own limits, but either way, I'm still feel like I should be better than what I am, even though I may not have that capability at the moment.
Well, I've had those expectations too. And I really had to learn myself, and I'm only speaking for myself, everybody is different. I found myself so emotionally connected to my parents' thoughts about me because I loved my parents and they mean a lot to me. And I never had a bad experience from them. They were the best parents I could have ever had. So I always had crushing thoughts about if I'm letting them down or if I'm not being the best son I could be. But I realized that I'm building a person that will be around a lot longer than they will. I mean, I hate to think about that, but you have to. Sometimes you have to realize that you can only go so far. At some point, you have to build the person that will continue on past them. And it's a good idea to make your parents proud. I think that's cool. You know, I don't ever want to give a middle finger to my parents. They're the best. But
Yeah.
but I also can't devote my whole life to only pleasing them because then I'm not pleasing myself. So I go as far as I can and I do the best I can. But there are moments I need for myself to build that person too. The person that will be happy, because ultimately someday I'll be on this earth without them. And I want to make sure I can still be happy, even though they're not around. You know?
Yeah.
And I don't know if
makes
that's a
lot of
helpful
sense.
thought, but it
No,
is a
it
thought.
definitely is.
It is
It
yeah.
is helpful.
Thank
I've
you.
always kind of lived under them, so I've thought about something like this, but also didn't want to disrespect them at the same time.
Of
So hear
course.
someone else have the same thought process as me makes me feel a lot better about it.
Are you doing your best for them? Do you think honestly that you're doing your best for them?
Yeah, I do.
Then
I'm
what
trying my
else can
hardest.
you ask for?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
There is nothing else you could possibly ask for. You're doing your best for them, and I don't think there's any reason to be afraid if you're doing your best.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. And I guess you're irrational fear, I guess.
Even if it didn't mean very much in saying that, it's still saying it, and it's not internalizing fear because that doesn't accomplish anything. Just talking about it goes so far. At least that's what it seems like in this state.
Yeah, I totally agree. Talking things out seems to help, I guess, organize the ideas and help it make more sense. Oh, thank you.
Can you still see me?
I actually cannot. I don't know why. But I can see you through the stream, so.
Oh no. It may be happening. Oh no. Oh no, the phasing.
What do you mean? What's wrong?
I'm worried I'm not. I
Are
don't have
you-
my feet in this dimension. Oh no.
No, Rocco, don't leave us.
Thank you, Donut Rose. Thank you.
No.
These are my last words to you. Goodbye.
No, come back.
What? Oh, what? I see all these calls and it made me happy, and for a minute I felt like I was coming back. Wait. Okay. Maybe I can come back. Maybe I can come back if I just focus on things that don't make me afraid. What are things that don't make me afraid? Gallic Spice. Can you hear me? Gallic Spice?
Yeah.
Gallic Spice, what's something that doesn't make you afraid?
Something that doesn't make me afraid?
Yeah.
I think it's just like, I think it's music, actually, because music is something I just enjoy.
Yes, I'm not afraid of music.
I mean, I'm not. I don't know if you are.
No, I'm not. Thank you. Let's talk to Steven Z. Steven?
Yes.
What are you not afraid of?
Close friends, like honesty. Honesty
Yeah.
with close friends.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of that either. Well, sometimes I am, but no, most of the time I'm not. Thank you, Steven.
Right. Stay
Thank
with
you. Oh, let's talk to Dinko. Dinko.
Hey.
Dinko, what are you not afraid of?
1 second.
Dinko, what are you not afraid of?
I'm not afraid of happiness.
You're not afraid of happiness?
No, I like being happy.
That's a little generic, but I'll take it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Dinko. Who else? Dab, you're gone. Frida, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Frida, what are you not afraid of?
Tim Tams.
I love Tim Tams.
I hope that
I'm
helps.
always in the best mood after I eat Tim Tams. What?
Come back to us. I hope that helps. This memory of Tim Tams.
Tim Tams, that's all I needed. I love Tim Tams. I love Tim Tams. Thank you, everybody. I'm back. I'm back.